So let us consider that there are n signals to be transmitted. I'm saying there are n, small n signals to be transmitted. Next point, we are saying that let bandwidths of signals be fm1 comma fm2 comma dot dot dot. The last bandwidth will be fmn. I'm using small n to represent the total number of signals. Now if this is the case, if the bandwidths of signals are fm1, fm2, etc., we know that after modulation also the bandwidth of single sideband will be nothing but fm1, fm2, etc. The total channel bandwidth required will be nothing but sum of all the individual bandwidths of the signals that we are transmitting. So it will be fm1 plus fm2 plus dot 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 fmn. So that will be the total channel bandwidth. But this is the channel bandwidth without guard bands, without this gap between the two frequency spectrum. So if I consider the guard bands, so considering guard bands, the total channel bandwidth required will be nothing but, it will definitely be sum of the individual bandwidth first, because all those spectrums will definitely be there. But now we have to consider the guard bands. Now if there are n number of signals, then we will require n minus 1 guard bands, because there will be a guard band between each two signals or each two frequency spectrum, and we will multiply with the bandwidth of guard band, the value of the guard band, which can vary from system to system. So n minus 1 into bandwidth of one guard band. So this will be the total bandwidth required. So if I take simple example, let's say n is equal to 10, that let's say there are 10 signals to be transmitted. So I'm assuming all the bandwidths are exactly same. So each signal is of bandwidth, let's say for example 5 kilohertz. If it's a simple speech signal, for example, the audio signal, the human speech signal frequencies vary from 300 hertz to 3.3 kilohertz. Maximum we can take it up to 4 kilohertz, but let us, for simplicity of the calculation, assume the bandwidth of the signal to be 5 kilohertz. Now if that is the case, and let's say that one guard band bandwidth is equal to, let's say the guard band bandwidth is equal to 500 hertz. Now if that is the case, the total channel bandwidth required will be nothing but, we have to add all the bandwidth first. So 5k, this will be added for 10 number of times, because there are total 10 signals, and n minus 1 will be 10 minus 1, that means 9 times the guard band. The guard band will be 500 hertz. So this will give me 5k into 10k will become 50 kilohertz total, and here it will be 9 into 500, which will be 4.5k. 9 into 500 will be 4500 hertz or 4.5k. So total bandwidth required will be nothing but 54.5 kilohertz. This is the total channel bandwidth required, or the total bandwidth of the composite signal that will be traveling through the communication channel. So now what is the advantage of doing FDM? It's very simple to understand the significance or the advantage of FDM system. Let's say for example, if I give you one channel whose bandwidth is 54.5 kilohertz. Let's say if we have one single channel whose bandwidth is 54.5k. If you're not carrying out multiplexing, then you can transmit only one signal, because without multiplexing I can only transmit one signal per channel, and that too if that one signal has the bandwidth of, let's say, 5 kilohertz, then I'm only using 5 kilohertz out of 54.5 kilohertz which is available. So there'll be a lot of wastage of bandwidth in that case. Using multiplexing, what I can do is I can transmit that signal, that one signal which I have in the 5 kilohertz frequency band for sure, but I can utilize the remaining bandwidth to transmit 9 more signals, and that too with the help of guard band also between every two signal of 500 hertz. Please do not assume that frequency division multiplexing will require lesser bandwidth for transmission. You can see that if there is one signal for transmission, we require 5 kilohertz. If there are 10 signals, we require 5 into 10, 50k for sure. So we are not reducing the bandwidth, we are just using the utilization of the bandwidth is much better in FDM system. We are able to use the remaining bandwidth of the channel also, which otherwise would go waste. The one drawback of FDM will be that we require the guard bands, and that may increase the bandwidth a little bit, because otherwise the bandwidth to transmit 10 signals will be only 50 kilohertz, but we require 4.5 kilohertz extra, which is due to the guard bands that we must keep between the two frequency spectrum. So that's FDM. Let's now go through the second type of multiplexing, which is called time division multiplexing.